The Journey to the Heart of the Rainbow. Ilara lived in a world painted in muted grays and browns, a land perpetually shrouded in a thin, persistent mist. Color was a whispered legend, a forgotten melody. Children learned of it in hushed tones, describing it as red like a sunset that never was, or blue like a sky no one had ever seen. Ilara, however, was different. She had dreams, vibrant and fleeting of an impossible spectrum. And these dreams, the world exploded with hues, and at the center of it all pulsed a magnificent, elusive rainbow heart. One crisp, particularly gray morning, while collecting dew-kissed moss for her grandmother's healing poultices, Ilara stumbled upon an anomaly. Tucked beneath an ancient gnarled oak was not gray moss, but a single, iridescent feather. It shimmered with faint, almost imperceptible hints of vermilion, cerulean, and emerald. It was like nothing she had ever seen. Clutching it, a tremor of excitement, both thrilling and terrifying, ran through her. This was a sign. The rainbow heart was real, and she, Ilara, was meant to find it. Her grandmother, a woman whose eyes held the wisdom of 100 seasons, saw the feather and her gaze softened. "The whispering quill," she murmured. "It only appears to those whose souls yearn for what is lost." She then spoke of the ancient legends, of a time when the world was awash in color, a time stolen by the shadow blight, a creeping despair that drained life and vibrancy. The rainbow heart, she explained, was the source of all color, hidden deep within the unseen peaks, a mountain range perpetually veiled by the densest mist. But the path is perilous, child. Only those with true intent and an open heart can hope to navigate it. Undeterred, Ilara prepared for her journey. She packed dried berries, a water skin, and her grandmother's old tattered map, which oddly had faint, faded lines in what seemed to be forgotten colors. With the whispering quill tucked safely in a pouch, she set out towards the formidable unseen peaks. The mist grew thicker as she ascended, muffling sounds and obscuring her vision. The air grew colder, and the silence was profound, broken only by the crunch of her boots on the rocky path. Days blurred into a monotonous cycle of walking, eating, and sleeping in damp hollows. Doubt began to gnaw at her. Was she chasing a child's fantasy? Then the whispering quill hummed. A faint, almost invisible thread of shimmering light, the color of nascent dawn, appeared before her. It wove through the mist, guiding her. This was the first hint of magic, a tangible link to her dreams. The path led her through the murmuring woods, where ancient trees, their branches laden with thick gray lichen, seemed to whisper forgotten secrets. Here she encountered the first guardian, a spirit of despair, a swirling vortex of shadows that tried to trap her in a web of hopeless thoughts. It reminded her of her smallness, the futility of her quest, the cold comfort of the familiar gray world. But the whispering quill pulsed warmly in her hand, and Ilara remembered the iridescent feather, the promise of color. She closed her eyes, focusing on the vibrant dreams, and the warmth of her resolve pushed back the despair. The shadow wavered, then dissipated, leaving behind a faint, almost musical echo. Next, she faced the labyrinth of echoes, a series of twisting canyons where her own fears and regrets reverberated, amplifying into deafening roars. Every wrong turn led her deeper into a mental prison. She saw her failures, heard the voices of those who doubted her. The quill, however, did not glow here. It lay inert. It was then Ilara realized this challenge was not for the quill to solve, but for her. She had to forgive herself, to accept her past, to quiet the internal noise. Taking a deep breath, she focused on the present moment, on the feel of the rock beneath her fingers, the cool air on her face. Slowly, the echo softened, then faded, leaving her mind clear. a new vibrant thread of light, this time a deep indigo, appeared, leading her onward. The climb became steeper, the air thinner. She reached the Obsidian Plateau, a vast, flat expanse of black rock that absorbed all light and warmth. Here she met the final guardian, a creature of pure apathy, a formless being that radiated an overwhelming sense of indifference. It didn't attack, it simply existed, making her feel small, insignificant, and utterly pointless. Why bother? Its presence seemed to say. There is no meaning, there is no joy, there is only this. This was the most insidious challenge, for it sought to extinguish her very desire to continue. Ilara sank to her knees, the cold seeping into her bones. The quill was cold, lifeless. She felt the apathy tugging at her, urging her to lie down and let the mist claim her. But then a flicker, a memory of her grandmother's smile, a child's wonder at the feather. A spark of stubborn defiance ignited within her. No, she had come too far. She had faced despair and regret. She would not surrender to nothingness. With a surge of inner fire, she stood, looking out at the featureless gray expanse. She closed her eyes and began to hum, a tune her grandmother used to sing, a melody about sunlight and green fields. It was a faint, almost silent hum, but it was her hum, full of her own unique spark. The quill vibrated, then pulsed with a brilliant golden light, cutting through the bray. The creature of apathy recoiled, its formless shape writhing, unable to withstand the presence of pure, unadulterated will. It vanished, leaving behind a lingering scent of ozone. With the apathy dispelled, the mist thinned dramatically, revealing a colossal archway carved into the side of the highest peak. It wasn't graystone, but a material that seemed to drink in the remaining light and reflect it back in 1,000 shifting faint hues. This was the entrance. Inside, the air grew warm and sweet, filled with an indescribable fragrance. The passage widened into a vast cavern, and there, at its very heart, it pulsed. The Rainbow Heart. It wasn't a single object, but a living, breathing aurora of pure, incandescent color. Waves of ruby, sapphire, emerald, and gold rippled outwards, coalescing and dissolving in a dance of unparalleled beauty. It was pure light, pure energy, pure emotion. As Ilara stepped closer, the colors enveloped her, washing away the lingering grays of her world. She felt the joy of 1,000 sunsets, the calm of an endless ocean, the vitality of a sprouting seed. The whispering quill flew from her hand and dissolved into the light, its purpose fulfilled. As she stood, bathed in the radiant spectrum, Ilara felt a profound shift within herself. It wasn't just the external world that would change, but her internal landscape. She understood now that color wasn't merely a physical phenomenon, but an expression of life, of hope, of resilience. Slowly, she turned and walked back towards the mouth of the cavern, a new light in her eyes. As she emerged, the unseen peaks were no longer unseen. The mist had lifted, revealing jagged, majestic peaks now tinged with the faint, ethereal glow of the Rainbow Heart within. Down below, she saw her world, and for the first time in generations, a faint, almost imperceptible blush of rose began to spread across the gray horizon, hinting at the dawn of a new, vibrant era. Ilara knew her journey was just beginning. The heart was found, but the work of rekindling the world, one color at a time, had just begun.